Hey everyone, welcome Booster Tutor. I'm Brandon and happy St. Patrick's Day. So today we'll be returning to an old favorite, my all foil cube. This is my cube vault, which I keep it in. The cube is about medium size, no power because that's really expensive, but it is all foil. So I had to, put my trade towards something. I figured just bling it out, why not? And in honor of the day, we'll be going over my green section. And much like this premise, my green section is pretty basic. It's just a bunch of big creatures, some token makers, and a little bit of graveyard recursion. But it does have my favorite card in the cube. And to find out what that is, there's only one way to find out. For me to tell you, it is Survival of the Fittest. Oh, that card. The Judge Foil, mwah, so beautiful. So we'll get to that, get to all the rest of my green, and, just see what's in there, go over the strategies. All right? All right, so we're just going to start off with Mana Dorks. It's what green does best. Got those 1-drops or 2-drops that come down. Tap for mana to get your bigger creatures out faster, or just get really big creatures out that other decks can't really get out. So first you got Elvish Mystic, classic standby. Avacyn's Pilgrim. Taps for 1 white, but it doesn't matter too much. A lot of times you can go green and white, which is always a good combo for like tokens or something. But I mean, sometimes you come this down, put this down, and you're just using it as a call list, basically, which is fine. Finned Horned Elves, another basically Elvish Mystic, but this is like the original, well, not the original, but an early one from Ice Age, I think, maybe even Fallen Empires. This is the only time it's been in foil, was from the Vault 20. So, it's from the Vault, but it's the only time it's foil, so had to get that. Land of War Elves, this is the OG Mana Dork. And it has the original art, which I love in foil. I don't think it's a Judge, I think it's like a WPN or something like that, but yeah, I love that art. It's so classic. Speaking of classic, we got Noble Hierarch here. Just old border, looks amazing in the old border. This is the 1-drop for Mana Dorks that you want because that's Exalted, which can just, really wreck combat, or like, oh man, he's giving, or she's giving this +1/+1, that's annoying. But yeah, great. We got Rattleclaw Mystic. Probably one I could cut. It's not the best. It's just a 2-drop that can tap for Teamer colors. But, if you morph it, it's a lot more, but morph and cube, it's interesting. Sakura Tribe Elder, just an awesome card. You just sacrifice this. You get to get a basic land. You can do shenanigans with the graveyard, which is always nice. And it's pretty cheap. You can just come down, chum block with it, get a land. It's like just kind of value there. And has that really weird art that, yeah, don't know about that art. Wall of Roots, another interesting way to make mana. You got to put -0/-1 counters on it. And then you add green mana. It eventually dies, but it's a good blocker early, which is nice. And it gets you time because you can get mana with it. Get bigger guys out. Sylvan Caryad, this was, classic annoying card in Standard because it has hexproof. It's an 0/3, which blocks pretty well for some things, and it's any color, which is really nice. I don't think is this the original, or is this like a bio box? I can't remember. Gyre Sage, I love this card. I thought this card was so dumb, but just the fact that it can make a ton of mana, and it just can get really big and attack later. I love that, especially in green. It's going to get a ton of counters if it comes down early. Somberwald Sage, this makes so much mana. Freaking 3 mana. Just to cast on creature, yeah, okay, that's fine, because I'm only be casting creatures. Shaman of Forgotten Ways. Another way, kind of like the Somberwald, using any combination if you want that way. The other one was 3 of 1 color. This is 2 of any color, or any combination. It's formidable, pretty crazy. Freaking 11 mana, but just wrecks any game if you can have it happen. Another way to kind of get mana, we'll say, Courser of Krufix. I mean, you gain life. You can sometimes play an extra mana. Blocks really well. Just an annoying card to have to deal with sometimes. Oracle of Moldiah. Card's crazy good. I mean, it's 4 mana, which is a lot, but it can sometimes just get you 2 mana a turn. That's so good. Oh, love this card. Lotus Cobra. Amazing art by Therese. This one, it's landfall, getting mana, so you have to use it right away, but it can work really well, just every turn almost getting you extra mana. And sort of a mana dorkish creature, Primeval Titan. I mean, basically, it's just going to wreck games. You can get this down and attack. Even don't even attack with it. Just getting it down, you get 2 lands. And then it's a 6/6 with trample. That's pretty crazy. And you get a land each time. And it's not basic. It's any land. So yeah, freaking awesome. All right, now let's talk about just some value creatures, I guess. We got Wall Blossoms, 2-drop, 0/4, blocks really well. You get to draw a card when it comes to play. If you have bouncing shenanigans, so good. Great way, because green drawing cards, not very common. Duskwatcher Recruiter. This one, it's nice because, it helps you dig for creatures you want to keep. And then when it flips, all those creatures are 1 mana less. So freaking awesome. Love that. Problem is, the flipping and flipping back can get really annoying, especially with sleeves. Obstinate Baloth. This one, maybe it's seen its time, but the fact that you just gain 4 life when it comes to play, and it's 4 mana for a 4/4, that's fine. The discard, doesn't matter too much. I mean, if you're playing against black, yeah, that's going to be really nice. But really wish I had some kind of evasion. Could see cutting this eventually. Boon Satyr, I don't know. I like this card. I just like the fact that it's a 4/2 with flash. And, then go onto a creature, make it huge, and then still be a 4/2 after that creature dies. Just value all around, I feel like. But yeah, probably eventually going to get cut, but I don't know. Thragtusk, is that ever going to get cut? I mean, you could put this in the token section if you wanted. Has life gain. Just super annoying to deal with. Love this card. Reclamation Sage, I know this isn't the foil version. I think I have a foil somewhere. I just need to put it in there. But I love the full art, like game day promos they had. And this is value in that it destroys enchantments when it comes to play, or artifacts. And so like bounce shenanigans right there. Another one, more destroying, a 6 line. This time you can destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. So yeah, that's better than the Sage, costs more. Has Death Touch, so blocks really well. And bouncing shenanigans, once again, really good. Now we have like the getting from the graveyard part. This is Eternal Witness, the one everyone knows about. Therese art with this promo, lovely. Basically, it comes into play, gets something from your graveyard, any permanent, so great. You can do recurring shenanigans with that. Den Protector, same thing, has to morph though. And, it's a nice little thing to get in there for some damage if it can. Genesis, probably a little slow for cube now, but, if it's in your graveyard, you pay 3, you get a creature back. Not the most exciting thing, super slow, but when you get it to go off, it's pretty nice. Green Warden of Marasa. This one, it's like Eternal Witness on steroids, basically. It's when it comes into play, and when it dies, you can exile it, so you can get 2 things back. The exiling makes it, you can't do too many shenanigans with it, but still, it's pretty big little creature. Maybe eventually gets cut just because it's so big and it's a little boring, I'd say. I think I like Eternal Witness because it's 3 mana and it can do that. This is like 6 mana and you can do it twice, but I don't know if that's really what you want to be doing at that. You want to be like putting on creatures that are just going to win you the game eventually. Vengevine, something that was in modern here and there. It comes and goes like in modern decks. This one, if you get, some mana dorks out, this can come back. Like if you can get it in the graveyard with some other shenanigans or something fast, it can come back. So it's just a nice little creature that can keep coming back and annoying your opponent. And has haste, so attacks right away. Troll Ascetic, freaking hexproof is always annoying. The fact you can regenerate it, so awesome. Speaking of that, we got Thrun the Last Troll. 4/4/4 with hexproof and regenerate, so it can't be countered too. So this guy, just so annoying to deal with. When he's on the board, you just kind of need a board wipe to deal with it, or creature combat. Elvish Piper, a way to get to those big creatures that you want to get down a little bit earlier. Very fragile, but if it can live, it can put down some really good creatures. And Phono Shaman, same thing. You're discarding a card, so maybe like you wanted to get to your Vengevine in the graveyard, discard that, go search for a better card, or maybe a mana dork if you already have another one, so you can play 2 creatures fast to get Vengevine out. You know, just stuff like that. Really good enabler, I feel like. All right, this is it for that section. Next, we've got the token section. So we got Mayor of Avonbrook, which doesn't make any tokens, but he makes human creatures you control +1/+1. Not really what you want for this, but when you do flip him, he becomes Howlpack Alpha. So other werewolves and werewolf creatures you get +1/+1, sure. Beginning of your end step, make a 2/2 werewolf. So basically or a wolf creature, I should say. Basically making 3/3s and making tokens into each of your end steps. So really good. The fact, but you know, it's a werewolf, so back and forth, really annoying, but really powerful card, especially for how cheap it is. Rampaging Baloth. I mean, 6 mana for 6/6 trample. I'll play that. That's awesome. The fact you just play a land, you get a 4/4 with trample. Nope, it doesn't have trample, sorry. A 4/4? Hey, whatever, still, I'll take that. If you can just have ways to get multiple lands on the battlefield in a turn, even better. Avenger of Zendikar. You know, not the most exciting, a 5/5 for 7, but freaking, when it comes into play, you make a ton of plant tokens, and whenever you play a land, they all get +1/+1. Freaking, and if you have other token shenanigans, like you'll see in the enchantment section, we'll say, just making a ton of tokens and them getting out of control. Master of the Wild Hunt, making more wolf tokens, so he plays with Mayor of Avonbrook for very well, and then tapping them to tapping him and then tapping other wolf creatures just to deal tons of damage. Oh, he's so annoying. I love this guy so much. Did he recently get reprinted? I feel like he might have. But either way, he's awesome. If he hasn't, he needs to be. Hornet Queen. We're getting a lot of green right there, but man, does she just make a wall. She's only a 2/2 flyer with Death Touch, which is nice because she can kill anything. But then she makes 4 1/1s with Death Touch. Holy crap. And then if they're token, like you have token things, they can be bigger. They can be 2/2s or 3/3s. And you can make more of those. If you have a certain card out, there could be 8 tokens. Just so good. And then my favorite token enabler, Deranged Hermit. Yes, he makes scroll tokens, and I don't think I have any other way to make scroll tokens, but he makes 1/1s that technically are 2/2s when he's in play. He makes 4 of them. He's just so good, and that art is so awesome, and it's so dumb. I love it. All right, that does it for the tokens. One of the other smaller creature themes we'll say is counters. So that's Scavenging Ooze, who's mainly there for getting the opponent's graveyard, just like get rid of cards. But it can also have token or counters on it to make it bigger. Colonial Hydra right there. It's doubling all the counters. I mean, there's other cards and other colors that have counters on it, so a great way just to double those. And then Experiment 1, which is just a nice card to come down early. It gets bigger and bigger, and you can regenerate if you really need to. Now, last for the creatures, we have the beaters, I guess? I don't really know what to call a section. Walnut it's Walnut. I don't really think this card can really hang in cube much longer. I think it's just not a strategy green wants to be in. I think it just doesn't do enough. Like, it comes down late game, you just got a 3/3 for 1. It's like, that's nice, but I don't know. And you have to be 3 colors, so. Ugh. Tarmogoyf, of course. I mean, it's old Goyfy. This card I want to talk about because this is from the first Modern Masters. And me and my friend were like, okay, we gotta get a foil Goyf. Let's do this. So we each bought a box. And I pulled this foiled Tarmogoyf from it. Was freaking amazing. Then I, got a little greedy and bought like 2 more boxes and didn't pull anything good. But this was my first box. I should have stopped there. But it was just so freaking amazing, like that, like happening to me. So yeah, card I'm gonna keep forever. So sentimental value. What can I say? Wolfir Silverheart, kind of just a big dumb creature that makes other big dumb creatures. But I love him just because he can make anything a threat. And you have something with flying or evasion. It's just like maybe sometimes your opponent just can't deal with that, can't see it coming. Pelucranos, I mean, it's a nice way for green to have direct damage to other creatures and stuff. It's not a big dumb creature. I guess it's a 5/5 for 4, which is pretty dumb and big, but the fact that you just dump a ton of mana into it to make it even bigger, awesome. Thornling, I mean, maybe not a card that can hang anymore, but the fact that it has just so many abilities, I love that. It's just, look at that art. It's so stupid looking. Look at this stupid face. Trestodon, I mean, another way just for green to destroy anything, almost non-creatures. but just a ton of things. And also technically a way for you to get tokens if you need them. I mean, you could destroy your own things to make 3/3s, but yeah, are you really gonna do that often? Maybe not, but yeah. If you can sneak this in somehow with like, you know, Elvish Piper, even better. Woodfall Primus, kind of a value card just because it does the same thing where it destroys target non-creature permanents, has persist, but 4 green, that hurts, but in green, this green and cube, that's not that big of a deal. And has trample, which I love because it's a 6/6 and can't be chump blocked. And last, good old Crater Hoof. You want to talk about tokens? This card is made for tokens or just any small creature. Comes down, your whole team just becomes a giant army, and oh my god, so good. Just amazing card. And if you can sneak it in, of course, even better. All right, so that does it for all the creatures. All right, let's move on to instant sorceries. Got our mana ramp cards here. Kodama's Reach, old commander favorite. 3 mana to get 2 lands, 1 hand, 1 on the battlefield tapped. Great way to ramp and to just, you know, fix. Farseek, 2 mana to get anything that isn't a forest, that's fine. Rampant Growth, ooh, this one's good because it goes right into play, not even into your hand. So I love that. And it's any basic, so, you know, Farseek can't go forest, this one you can. Sylvan Scrying, even better, because this is any card. Goes in your hand though, so, I mean, if you have like Maze of Ith or something, you can get it with this, but it does go in your hand, but still, hey, that's fine if you want to get like a really good card, like maybe even a bounce land or something. Let's move on to the cards where you just get creatures, basically. Green, Sun Zenith, this card just kind of broken. It's so good. Just if you have a ton of mana, it's a great way to get any card in your deck and just get it on the battlefield. Genesis Wave, just another way to just get a ton of anything onto your battlefield. This is like a game finisher type of thing you need. Ton of mana, just dump it into it. Hope you get everything you want. Tooth and Nail, great way to just get creatures and to put them in the battlefield. I mean, you could do either or, you can do both, and that's just really good, especially for 9 mana. Yeah, that is a lot, but still, I mean, it's any creature, so it goes right into play. Natural Order, this is a Judge promo. I love this freaking art. This was later in Eternal Masters, I think, so, you know, not as special, but still very good. And this is basically you sacrifice a creature, which is easy. You know, get rid of one of your mana dorks, and just get any creature in your deck and put it on the battlefield. So your mana dork becomes a Crater Hoof behemoth. So broken. Channel, talk about broken. Of course, you know, turn 2, channel Fireball in the death, get an Eldrazi, something like that. I know a lot of cubes cut it, but I think it's just such a swing that I love that you are putting everything in this, and if you lose, well, you just lost really fast. Or if you win, and it's not fun, but it's also kind of like, hey, that's what cube's for. Like, you want those moments you're like, I just did this. Plow Under, just a dumb card I like to play. I don't know, just kind of, you're mana ramping and then you're screwing them over. That's just funny to me. I don't know why. Love that art too, so dumb. And then Beast Within, another way for green to just deal with permanents you usually can't. And, you know, like I said, if you want to make yours a 3/3 for yourself, you can. Mainly this is for Planeswalkers and stuff. And last, Berserk, this is from the Exiled, I think, from the Vault. Just another way to get people with green, like your big dumb creatures coming in, all of a sudden it's just going to kill them if it gets through. So, yeah, just a stupid dumb way for green to finish a game, especially for 1 mana. Probably a little too broken, but still, love it. All right, now we'll talk about the enchantments. We got Rancor here, just good old value enchantment. Keeps coming back, so hard to deal with. I've always loved it in Limited. Oath of Nissa, one of the newer additions, for me, I should say. Just a way to, you know, get some value with it to try and get something you need with the top 3. And then if you have a lot of Planeswalkers, you can play any one you want. Oops. Sylvan Library, just such a good card and all around. It's a good way for green to have a card draw, which it shouldn't like this. It's just way too good, I think. But, man, you gotta have it in cube. It's that good. Doubling Season for, you know, the token strategy or Planeswalkers or the counter strategy, any of those. Always great. A little expensive, but still, green can get there easily. And then my favorite card, Survival of the Fittest, with that amazing art. I love that art. This is basically just a way to, get a creature card, just discard things. It's cheap. To do that, it's cheap. So if you have a graveyard recursion, it's amazing. Just, yeah, love this card and that art. How can you not play with that? All right. And lastly, we have the Planeswalkers, which I probably have too many for in green. First got Grook Relentless. Just comes down. He can make tokens. He can deal damage. That's great for green. I love that. And when he flips, he makes even better tokens. He can search out for creature cards. And he can just, finish the game with giving all your creatures trample and making them bigger. So just so much value in him. I love this guy. Technically he's green-black, but whatever, he goes in the green deck. Next Grook Wild Speaker. I think he's just probably the most balanced Grook there is. I mean, he untaps your lands. That's what you want to do for mana ramping. He makes tokens. Awesome. And he does the same thing where he just gives all your creatures +2/+3 and trample. I mean, it's what green wants to do in this type of cube, I would say. And love that art, of course. Trace, amazing. Yeah, I just really like that one. And he's cheap. He's 4. That's not bad. So I have Nissa here, who this just really bad San Diego Comic-Con art, which, I mean, I love the idea. I love it on paper. I just don't love it on cardboard because it's so hard to read. But she is amazing. She makes a 4/4, a land into a 4/4, and that's it. Not until in the turn, it's just always a 4/4. She untaps 4 forest, which is crazy good. And then for her ultimate, you just get to any number of basics, put them on play, and then now they're 4/4s. Like, it's just amazing. She makes just such a good army, and she can just ramp you really well with the untap 4. Yeah. And then lastly, we have the Nissa Vastwood Seer. This is the one where, she comes to play, you get the basic forest, you get to put it into your hand, and then if you have a certain number amount, and she flips into a Planeswalker, then she, her +1, she helps you find mana, which is awesome. -2 makes tokens. That's great in green. You want tokens. And then her ultimate is just untap a bunch of lands, and they all become 6/6s, and then they're just crazy. Like, have fun dealing with that. So 6/6s. Ugh, so good. But I like her because she comes down early, 3-drop. She's a 2/2 creature. That's fine. Then she gets you a land, and then she can later in the game become a Planeswalker with a lot of awesome abilities. So that's it. Hope you all enjoyed it. All right, there we go. That's my green section. Like I said, not too exciting, just pretty standard. Also, haven't updated my cube in quite a while. Think probably Amonkhet, maybe even Shadows of Innistrad. Sorry about that. Really need to get to it, but maybe I'll do some videos on, hey, here's what I've upgraded to and what I've gotten rid of and stuff, but whatever. If you want to follow me on Twitter, booster_tutor, and see you next draft.
This program brought to you by viewers like you.